If you've been keeping up with the development of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, or even just tuned in to one of the developers' live streams, you've no doubt heard the term class interdependency used once or twice. It's a fantastic concept and a refreshing approach to classes that MMOs have unfortunately been lacking for some time. Let's take a look at just what class interdependency means in Pantheon. In the world of MMOs today, you see a lot of games generally giving each class one of almost every kind of ability. They mostly do this in an attempt to balance the classes, being careful not to give one class too much of an advantage over the others. It can be quite frustrating to see a system like this destroy the very reason we have different classes in the first place. If you go back and look at some of the earlier popular social RPGs, like Dungeons & Dragons, you will no doubt notice that all of the classes are quite different from one another, with each class having its own unique role within the party. This is how classes were intended to be used. The entire point to a class-based game is to challenge the players to work together and figure out how to best utilize each class's abilities within the party to succeed. This concept was carried on to many MMORPGs, but over time it became more and more diluted. This was partly due to players complaining of unfair advantages that some classes had over others in regards to PvP. You will notice this especially in games that are heavily invested in PvP. Almost every class will have some kind of crowd control, heal, movement ability, crowd control break, buff, you name it. All classes have some variation of that skill. It really has gotten out of hand, resulting in many classes in many games losing what makes them unique and desirable as a class in the first place. Thankfully, the developers at Visionary Realms saw that classes weren't being represented the way they ought to be and made it a priority to make sure that in Pantheon, classes would function as they were always intended. The developers have a list of features they refer to as the Pantheon difference. Class interdependency is one of the major points on that list, with all the other points being equally as important, but I'll save those for other videos. VR's focus on class interdependency means that classes will once again feel unique and will each be desirable to groups for their own reasons. Since we already know that Pantheon is making group-based gameplay a major focus, this concept will no doubt shine as players will have to rely on each other's strengths to survive. It's unclear at this time how far this will be taken, but we do know that each class will have an iconic ability which will be unique to that class and will also be an ability that highlights the class's very nature. For example, we know that the Shaman's iconic ability is Baleful Lethargy, which is a debuff that severely reduces melee attack speed and may make the target more susceptible to damage. It's too soon to say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if we also see certain types of abilities being exclusive to one class, while possibly having lesser powerful versions of that skill available to a hybrid or similar class. As an example, the Enchanter's Mez would be the most powerful crowd control ability, while other classes may get a snare or some less powerful crowd control skill. Again, this is just my personal speculation. Part of the reason VR is able to create such diverse classes is because the game is being designed as a PvE experience first. The game will have PvP shards and or areas where players can PvP, but at least at launch, PvP is not the primary focus of the game. Personally, I respect Visionary Realms for their uncompromising approach to creating a game that they want to make. Creating a game in this way ultimately allows for a much higher quality experience for those who are interested in this style of game. Well, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think about giving classes back their identities. What do you think about playing a truly unique class again? And for kicks, let me know which class you plan on maining in Pantheon. Personally, I'll be maining a Crusader. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it to show your support, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on more Pantheon updates. You can also follow the channel on Twitter at BrainBeanGaming, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.